Hello? Hello, can everybody hear us? I
Hello, everybody.
This is exciting. Hi everybody.
Hello.
It's been a bit. Awesome. I'm glad you can hear us. We had a little bit of technical issues getting ready, so thank you for your patience with us as we were getting all set up. We just have such a jam-packed show for you today. It's going to be a little different than what we usually do. There isn't going to be our traditional Q&A session that we have at the end of the show. Instead, because we have so many things to share with you, we highly encourage you to ask us questions during the show. So if there are questions you have during each segment, please just ask away in the chat. We have our awesome mods Aditya and Mu and Lee in the chat, and they're both very friendly. So say hi to them. One of them is Emily from our previous live stream, who hosted. If you were there for that, so be sure to give her a nice big warm hello. And also, if anyone has tuned into one of our live streams a couple months ago, you might see a familiar face here, Scott. Scott, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Scott Price, and I'm the senior producer for Computer Lunch, and I'm focusing on the Beyond right now.
Awesome. Yeah, so if that doesn't already give you a hint about what we're going to be talking about, or if you haven't been following us on socials, we're going to be talking about the Beyond and what's coming up with that. So that's very exciting. And Sam, you're new here. Hi, how are you?
Hello. I'm good.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Sam. Got health. We're doing last names here. I am a associate producer for Celta Singularity, and my main focus is new content for the main simulation and also the Explore events that we're trying to push. So that's what I'm focused on, and that's what I'm very excited to talk about.
Very exciting. Yeah, you have particularly a lot of different things to show. So
yeah.
But that's cool. It's really exciting to share with everyone what we've been working on. I think our team is probably the busiest we've ever been in terms of like producing content and releasing at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. We have a lot of different tracks.
Yeah.
And it just means even more content to show on the live stream. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Everyone gets a little sneak peek of what we're working on.
Super exciting. Well, why don't we just jump right in then, in that case? If anyone is familiar with what we've been releasing lately, it's super exciting. We just released the big overhaul for the Stone Age. We did like a base Dawn of Civilization update that was kind of like laying down the groundwork and showing like, hey, we're going to be doing this really cool update to the Civ Garden. Much needed, long overdue, and we're going to be updating age by age, and the first one was the Stone Age. So Sam, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Let me pull up the screen. Should be good now. So you guys should be able to see my screen, right?
Yep, you are. Your screen is live.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, so recently we've been working on pushing new content for the civilization, as Emily was saying. And that meant, as we talked about in the last live stream, we did a big overhaul of the garden. So now it looks a lot cooler and nicer and kind of represents what we have over here in the mammal garden, which is very exciting. More represented on the humans and not on the mammals, obviously. So recently we did a Stone Age civilization content push where we added a couple new nodes. So I'll show some of those now. We actually added hafting, spear, axe. What else did we add? We added a boat node, a leather node, and we added these nodes just to add some more content for players who have been playing the game for a while. So if you want to rerun and prestige and play through the tree again, that's always exciting new content. You can learn a little bit. I personally, when we were making this, didn't know much about hafting, and I think it's a cool word, and it's pretty cool to learn about how it's the technique of wrapping like a stone and a stick together to create something that you can use as a tool, which was cool to learn. Nice. So we added these, and then we added these new nodes to add more content, but that's not it. We also added some new Logit prizes as well, which you can purchase to unlock new content in the game as well. So we added dog domestication, we added Lasgo Cave, and Gobeki Tepe, which are some really cool objects that I can show off. So let me see. I have them in my tree. So which one do I want to do it first? I'll do Gobeki Tepe. Oh, do I not have enough ideas? I do not. Okay, well that is fine for now. I have not made it far enough.
Oh, no worries.
1 second. It's okay. Let me do... So, I'll do those later. First off, I'll show off Stonehenge. So, kind of like the glitch nodes, if you guys have played through the... If you've prestiged and you've restarted, you can unlock Stonehenge now, which is kind of like the glitch mammal nodes inside of the tree. And if I unlock this now, let's see, it will unlock it and I can buy with ideas, kind of like how the glitch mammals work before. Now unlock Stonehenge, and now it'll do the animation. And now in the tree, you'll see that I unlocked Stonehenge, so it looks pretty cool. It makes your garden look pretty sweet. And what it also does is it actually increases the efficiency of Stonehenge itself. And all of these Logit Store prizes will also do the same thing. So what we're kind of doing now is by unlocking these, you actually make your Stone Age section the strongest part of your main simulation. And we're going to be keeping that cadence with the new content pushes that we also are going to try to do. And let me see. One other thing I can show off here too is we have dog domestication, which is a new Logit prize as well. And
My personal favorite.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We might add some other animal domestications in the future. You'll have to wait and see. I am personally a dog person. I know a lot of people are cat people. I also like cats too.
If there was a cat domestication node, I'd be all over that.
I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but that might be in the works. But yeah, so over here we have this dog domestication where we have this guy and he is petting the dog over here. And that may or may not unlock something in your game. So you'll have to try it out for yourself and unlock it in the Logit store to see if something happens in your game. And then yeah, also with the new content, so along with this we have a couple other 3D models in the tree. So we have this cool guy spearfishing.
That one
cool.
gave me so many issues when I was trying to grab footage for the trailer. Like his spear would always pop up like on the other side of his hand, so it would look like he was like stabbing the air. But only I had that bug, which was the weird thing. No one in beta was experiencing it. It was weird.
Interesting. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I definitely think this is probably my favorite animation that we added in this tree.
For sure.
We also have this person over here throwing a spear. I don't know what they're hunting. They could be hunting the bison over here, but it looks like they're missing, which I don't know if I'm happy about or sad about. I think for the success of the civilization, I'm sad about it, but I'm happy that the cute bison are not getting hurt.
The circle of life.
Exactly. Over here we have a lady and what seems to be her child mourning over somebody who has probably passed away. But comically, to lighten the mood a little bit, we have what looks to be a dodo over here. I'm not going to click it. We'll talk about that later, but it's adding a little bit of light to the situation, along with her seeming to be possibly pregnant here, so that's also positive. And then the last, models that we add into the tree are these people around the fire. But we also have a dodo that's also on the fire here. But luckily, it is not getting burnt because it seems to be translucent and not getting affected by the fire. But yeah, that is about it for the content of the new civilization. I would love to unlock these, but I don't seem to have them unlocked right now. But if you guys want to, please feel free to unlock them in your own games by purchasing them with Logits and then making sure you unlock them, because they are really increasing your efficiency in your game and they look really, really cool in the garden. But yeah, so that's the content for Stone Age, and I wanted to ask everyone if you guys could guess what the next content push you think we're going to be doing for the civilization. Like, what age do you think we're going to be working on next? Does anyone have any ideas on what they think it's going to be?
Yeah,
Shoot it in the chat if you think you know
for
what it's going
sure.
to be.
It's fun to guess. There was actually someone who asked in the chat earlier that I thought that was a good suggestion for content, like updating older content later on in terms of like cinematics. I think we were asked, why doesn't everything that's represented in the garden get its own like intro cinematic? Like, I know we updated fire and we updated hunting to be represented in the garden. So I'd be curious to hear if people would think that would be annoying or not, or if they would like to see, like, when they purchase a node that's represented in the garden, to be taken to the garden and show it popping up. So yeah, let us know. That's an interesting, some interesting feedback. I didn't think of that before.
Yeah, that's a good comment. We actually did think about that because I think there's a lot of interesting things you can do by like ways you can show off the new content. I think we personally didn't do that because I think it might get a little annoying if you're unlocking the new nodes and you're constantly getting thrown back into the garden. But so we didn't do that sort of to create more of like an exploration feel. So like you notice it and you're like, oh, like look at all this new animations and new content in the tree. And then the other really cool things, those get the animations. But that's a good question that somebody was asking.
Yeah, I like it this way too, though.
Yeah. It looks like some people are guessing about the new age, and I don't know if anyone got it right, which is I'm a little bit surprised about. So I'll throw it in. So the next one that we are going to be doing is going to be the Neolithic Age. So we're going to be going in order.
Yeah,
so that is
that.
Oh, somebody did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry about that. Who got it right first? I want to name drop.
Let's see, we got Dream Jam.
Dream Jam. Woo! Nice guess. Yeah, so we're gonna be updating that, and I know a couple other people were saying that they want the information age to be updated. So ideally, if all goes well, we will be moving up and up and up eventually to the information age, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, and we're going to be releasing the Neolithic Age content update ideally sometime in November, so everyone can look out for that and enjoy that when that comes out.
Awesome. It's going to be exciting seeing the whole garden unfold. It's already been really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, thank you, Sam. That was awesome. And hopefully people are enjoying playing the new Stone Age update. We'll be looping back around to you all in due time, though. But now it's time to give Scott a chance in the spotlight. So Scott, you've been working really hard on Beyond E20. So please share with us more info about that. I think a lot of our players are dying to know what's going on.
Yeah, there is just so much. I mean, one of the things I like about working on the Beyond is that it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this episode is definitely fitting in that trend. So at the end of episode 19, Semblance had learned to simulate the full breadth of stars that are out there, that we know of out there in the universe. We even got to see and chart the stars on the HR diagram, which sort of shows the breadth of and lifespan of the stars. And at the end of that episode, Semblance wraps that up with wondering that now that we've seen all of those stars, and there's so many millions of stars out there, that there must be so many planets. And yet, when we look at our own system, and as we're starting to look at others, Earth still seems really rare. So the episode 20 is starting to, with the mission, is to go learn more about all of those systems. Now that we know those stars, let's learn about the planets that are around them. And I think this might be good to actually take a look in the game itself. I've pulled it up, and we can share just a little bit of what's in the beyond. Again, there's so much that I can't show it all, and I don't want to spoil it because there are some exciting points. But here we are in the game. So we left. I can't avoid getting that little boost if it comes up. So during the last few episodes, we had an exoplanets node, and Tau Ceti, which is one of the nearest systems that we know has exoplanets. We opened that node up there, and that's going to become the focus of the next episode. So coming over here in the tree, we're leaving the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram because, of course, we'd just be going all over the place with it, and it's gotten pretty full at this point. And we're starting to see, we're starting to explore some of the worlds that may surround stars. The very first one is first partly because it's very young. So let's actually take a look at it in the garden. Fomalhaut.
Fomalhaut is so pretty. There's really nothing like it.
Yeah. Color is pretty crazy.
And it's one of the brighter stars out there. But what's interesting about it, from that perspective, is that usually the pictures that we see of the Fomalhaut system actually have a big black dot in the center. And in fact, those images, if you search for Fomalhaut or Eye of Sauron, you'll see it's a really photogenic system, because we've got all of these rays of light radiating out from the star, and we've got this disk of dust. And that's what makes the Fomalhaut system pretty special. It's so young that the planets haven't even formed yet. We've got this protoplanetary disk surrounding it, and as we rotate around it in the garden, we can see that the bright star that sits as center, which is always blocked out of those photos of the system because it's just too bright. We really want to see all of the dust that surrounds it. So you can see although this is an interesting system to look at, and it's definitely, there are a lot of systems like this, there aren't any planets here yet. So the generator in this system is actually Fomalhaut's rings. So that's kind of, it's neat, and it's one of the most beautiful things in the garden yet. It also highlights that as we get further out and are showing all of these new kinds of celestial objects, we've really had to improve the garden. So we've got particle systems doing this, and we've got new ways of doing light and focusing on things in the garden, all to enable beauties like this. The next one out is WASP 12b, and I think WASP is my favorite generator so far in all of the beyond.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Such an interesting shape.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there are a couple of things that are amazing about WASP. One is that it's so close to its star, and you can kind of see when we zoom in there. Now, of course, size is and proximity is exaggerated a little bit in the beyond, so that we can see some of these things that are actually pretty far apart. But in this case, it's accurate. WASP 12b is really close to its star. It's so close that it's actually being stretched into this egg shape, and it's a gas giant, so that's a little bit easier than it would be if it were a rocky terrestrial planet. But it's so close that it's getting stretched, and in fact, we think that its atmosphere is being pulled off, and eventually we may lose it entirely. It's an interesting system for astronomers to look at, because it will let us see what happens when, as a planet gets absorbed into its star. So I just love this, and this was also quite involves some new technology for the beyond to get this dust disk orbiting the planet.
Yeah, that
It's
definitely
so
makes
pretty.
it look very fat. It's really cool looking. That trail that's around that star is crazy.
So something that is interesting, you can see here, is this is so close to the star, and it's so hot, and with the atmosphere being pulled off, it's interesting to try to imagine what it would be like to be in that atmosphere as it's actually getting pulled into the sun. or maybe getting blown away. There's actually some scientific uncertainty about where the atmosphere is going, but a lot of renderings look like this. So we chose this answer. Like, what would it be like to be there? I love that aspect
What
of.
would it be like if Earth was getting sucked into the sun?
Yeah, would we get stretched out as well?
And in fact, we'll get to this. We'll get to this a little bit more in a minute. But I wanted to showcase it here. An interesting topic on these is the Roche limit, which is where when a planet or anything is close enough to a gravity well, the side that's closer and the side that's further away are feeling gravity so differently that the object could actually get torn apart. And I'll come back to that in a minute, but WASP is showing how it can get unpleasant on a planet when you're too close to your star. And the last one that I want to show before we move on to the to trait cards, which are another big new item, is Awahali. Awahali isn't visually to me the most exciting. WASP 12b has the place in my heart, although it's got some of the same. It's losing its atmosphere. We think like WASP 12b. What's cool about Awahali is its name, right? It's many of the exoplanets that we found have a name like WASP 12b, where they've been named after the stellar survey where we spotted them, right? So it was the WASP survey that found and the 12th system that they found, and the second planet that they found in that led to the name WASP-B. But Awahali has actually gotten a casual name, what's the word for it? A normal name that we might refer to. And there's an interesting story behind it that we'll come back to with some of the trait cards. But yeah, so Awahali as well is so close to its system, to its star, that its atmosphere is probably getting pulled away, and we can see it trailing behind it in its orbit there. So that's an exciting piece of Awahali. And you may be sensing a theme here that between all of these, none of these yet are really welcoming places. Life as we know it would have a hard time on any of these strange worlds, but we'll get there, and we'll dig into that. And one last thing that I wanted to show is here in the garden. So on the topic of naming, we actually have a new node that you can unlock, and if I want to show it, I need to go back into the garden and actually focus all the way back on Earth. Let's do that. Because
we gotta go so far back to look at Earth.
I know, right? Yeah, and I just love that zooming around. It's sometimes I just while I'm supposed to be testing, I will just click on different generators just to zoom around the universe.
It does give you a good idea of just like how big space is, and I feel like we haven't even really scratched the surface still.
Yep. So let's see if I can find it here. There we go. So the Kepler Space Telescope finally makes an appearance in episode 20. And it's interesting to look at in the garden here because it's not right around Earth. And that's there's a good reason behind that. The further you get from Earth, the less noisy things are, right? The light and the radio and the noise from Earth is much quieter if you get a part of an orbit behind. And so I enjoyed seeing this go into the garden because I'd read this about the Kepler Space Telescope, but there it was, and it's neat to be able to really see it and to understand why that is helping us see all of these exoplanets so much more clearly. So, yep. So it's on an orbit that follows the Earth. Cyber Warrior noted it's at one of the Lagrange points. I actually think it's not at a Lagrange point. It's following along in the orbit, but you can see it's a little bit different from Earth's orbit if it were in a Lagrange point, which is an interesting thing. Go look it up if you're not sure what Lagrange points are. We can't get into it here. But it's just on its own orbit following Earth. So yeah, it's interesting. Go check it out. And with that, I think we can skip over to look at some of the trait cards that are coming up. And I pulled out 3. We've got a whole bunch of them in here, but these are 3 of the most exciting ones. So I mentioned before the Roche limit, and that a planet, when it's close enough to its star, and this applies to lots of things, a moon that's close enough to its planet, they can hit what's called the Roche limit, and where the body will actually be torn apart by the close part being pulled to closer and closer to the star, and actually starting to orbit faster than the far side of the planet or the moon. So this trait card opens up. It's I don't think it's on one of the stars I showed, or the planets I showed, but the Brink of Doom is an exciting one because it'll literally tear apart planets. Diamond Crust is neat. It's also on one of the upcoming generators. So a bunch of these planets are really, really close to their star. And one of them is so close and so dense. It's much, much bigger than Earth. And in fact, we're not even sure what that density means. We're trying to figure out, like, does it have a really strange atmosphere? Is it just really huge? We're getting conflicting signals from some of the data that we've seen. But it looks like it's got plenty of carbon. And that carbon, it's such a big planet, and the gravity and the temperatures are so enormous that planet probably has a crust made of diamond. It's debatable, but it's exciting. So that's another one of the trait cards. And finally, as I think Lori mentioned, Hopping Fun mentioned in the chat, that last planet that I showed, Awahali, has a trait card that is my favorite trait card so far. So the name Awahali means sun-kissed eagle in Cherokee, and there was a process of naming that planet that where they got a whole bunch of names from different sources, and this one won out. Awahali orbits a star that is called, I believe, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing it, Nokisi. And Awahali means sun-kissed eagle, and as you can see, this is drawing on a legend that of an eagle that flew so close to the sun that it got very, very hot. And Awahali, the planet, is very much in that. There's more to read in the tooltip, and if you go search online. But those are just 3 of the trait cards that we've opened up that will improve the production of various generators. And that's not quite all. There's one more thing that I wanted to show. If you've been playing the Beyond, you'll probably expect it at this point. But we've got a couple of constellations coming up. And I think our next slide is about that. Yep. So Canis Major is, we have 2 constellations, but I couldn't not show the dog, especially with what Sam just showed in the Civ Garden.
We've been showing a lot of
Sirius.
dog love today.
Where's the cat love?
And Sirius, the dog star, of course, is there in Canis Major. We unlocked Sirius in the last episode, but now the whole dog will be making a showing in the Beyond. So there's much more, of course, but I don't want to spoil it. The Beyond episode 20 will be, it's been in beta now for a few weeks, and thank you again to our beta testers for helping us test this. With so many new things going on in the garden, there were lots of bugs to squish, and 5 generators, there was a lot to balance in this. So thank you so much, beta testers. And it should go live on production next week.
Woohoo!
Oh, so soon.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So it's coming to you guys very soon. I've been getting a lot of questions from people on social asking when is E20 coming out, and those questions started popping up as soon as a couple days after we released E19. So I know some players are really excited for this next chapter coming out. Yeah, so it'll be coming out to you very soon. And please keep an eye out on our socials because we'll be releasing a trailer and an official announcement for when it's live.
Wow, the art and the graphics on that look really beautiful. I really like the what is it called? The one where the planet's getting destroyed. That card. What was it called again?
Brink of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Brink of Doom.
So
I'm definitely gonna
catastrophic.
be looking forward to get Brink of Doom. That one looks crazy.
I really like the Sun-Kissed Eagle one. If I had to choose, I think it's really gorgeous, and I know Olga's worked really hard on finding something to really like bring that together cinematically. And I feel like it's so dramatic seeing an eagle with flames on it flying through space. Well, thank you so much, Scott, for sharing with us what's in store for E20. Again, everyone, stay tuned. It's coming to you very soon. This is the next major content update that we're bringing to you. And we hope you're looking forward to it. We know we are. And with that said, we're going to be moving on to another really big feature that our team has been working really hard on, the leaderboard and the research race. But first, we're just going to touch on the leaderboard. Sam, I'm going to hand this off to you. It's a big one, but I'm looking forward to sharing with everyone what you guys have been working so hard on for it.
Yeah, so this has been a very interesting content. There's some interesting content that we've been trying to push into the game. So a while back, we actually did add the leaderboard into the game in kind of a beta state. So the way it was working before was it would account how many metabits you have, and then you would be able to see every single player in the game and kind of where they stacked against you and how many metabits they had. So now we're trying to sort of do something different, and we've actually pushed it into the game. And if you've been playing and you've noticed it, you would have seen it. And we're kind of working with these new tiers, which we have in the game. So when you're playing, we're using this thing called research points, and these research points will take in how many badges you have, where you are in the Beyond, where you are in the Mesozoic Valley, and then they'll calculate a special number that will give you a specific tier. And I believe before we had a bunch of tiers. So as you can see in the image here, we had nerd, student, scholar, intern, and we had a lot. So we noticed that we were getting a lot of people saying that it was a little difficult to notice where they stood in the leaderboard because we had so many names. So we're actually now updating them to have less tiers, which might sound a little not as exciting, but I think it'll mean that there's a little bit more of a competition. So if you're an analyst, maybe you'll see some other analysts and try to compete with them some more.
I think it'll be easier to keep track of it too. At least visually. Otherwise, it's too much information and it's an overload.
Yeah, before it was a little confusing. You'd have to constantly check like where you fell in the tiers, and we wanted it to feel a little bit more clearer to the players. So instead of having to check back and forth, we're kind of doing something that a lot of other games do, which is, if you see, we have like iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. So we tried to condense our tiers to kind of match that more. And then with that, we're also gonna make those icons represent those metals a little bit more. So we have some icons in the game now. We're going to do a couple edits on them and make them seem a little bit more cohesive with the tiers that we have. I'm a little upset that we don't have nerd anymore. I thought it was a funny tier, and I kind of always wished I could have stayed a nerd, but we don't have it anymore. Now we just go, you're straight. If you just start the game, you'll be a student, and then you'll work your way up. And when we eventually add more content into the game, we will possibly maybe add one or two more tiers, possibly, but we'll see what happens.
Nice. No worries, so Sam. Once we're a nerd, we're always a nerd. Don't worry.
That's exactly. Once a nerd, forever a nerd. But
the nerd is just the whole stack, right?
Yeah. That's representative of the whole thing. It's
S tier nerd.
But I I think the leaderboard will be very exciting. Right now, the leaderboard is very front-facing, and what I mean by that is you have to. It's kind of buried inside of the reality engine. So if you want to look at it, it's in the same place where you end your simulation and restart. So eventually, what the team has been thinking about is once it's still in beta, our multiplayer features. So once they're more polished and finished, we're actually thinking about making it more front-facing. And what I mean by that is maybe you will be able to see your icon with your tier in your main simulation right on the top of your screen. So if you and your friends are playing cells, you can look over your friend's screen and be like, "Oh, look at you! You're only let's say you're only a student, and I'm an analyst. So I'm a little bit better than you at the game."
Nice.
So that'll be.
I love the spirit of competition, and this isn't the only way that you can compete in a multiplayer feature in Cell to Singularity now. There's also the research race as well, which I know has been receiving lots of iterations, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from our players about it. So I think it'd be awesome for us to give you guys an update about it.
Yeah, so the research race is pretty linked to the leaderboard in the instance that they're both multiplayer features. So like I said before, we've been trying to add a lot of multiplayer into the game. And the research race is a really interesting one that we've added recently. If anyone has been in a research race and has played it and wants to shout themselves out in the chat, go ahead, because I know I've been playing a lot of the research race. There are a little bit of bugs in it. We're constantly working on it. The feature is still in beta, so we're constantly trying to improve it. With multiplayer features, it gets a little tough because we have to constantly test it and then see how it's working with our community and go back and forth. But we're getting it to a good place where it'll feel perfect and work exactly as we need it to. But I'll give a little specifics on how it works if nobody's familiar. So when starting an event, we have a bunch of events. So for example, we have, I believe, the Extinction event here, one of our players' favorites. You will join a research race with, I believe, around 10 to 15 players, and you will compete against them to see who can get to the end of the event first. So, and you can do that by looking inside of this research race tab, which you'll see with the little checkered flag. And you can see where you are placed amongst everyone else in your research race and see your progress. You can see how much of the event you've completed and compare that to everyone else, and then try to beat everyone else. And what happens is if you get first, second, or third place, you will get logit prizes. You can get 25 logits if you come in first, 15 logits if you come in second, and 10 if you come in third. And then fourth and fifth will get 5 logits. So they're the same amount of logits, but we wanted to have it from first, second, third, fourth, and fifth to add a little bit more players getting some rewards, because who doesn't like throwing out some rewards to players? So yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying that feature. I know I am. I enjoy competing. I know I got my sister to play this game and my dad, so we've been put into research races and playing against each other, so it's been a really fun time, and I hope everyone's really enjoying that. But another cool feature that we can kind of see inside of this research race, and you can kind of see it in the garden there, is that you're actually able to customize your player profile and your icon inside of the research race. Now this is something.
No way.
Yeah. Now this is something you could do before in the leaderboard, but like I was saying before, it wasn't very front facing, so it wasn't very known to players yet, especially because it was still sort of in beta. But if you update your icon, it will actually show up as we were looking before in the garden, because you can see the players you're playing against. It'll show an icon of like what you look like in the garden. But if you want more of a customized version of that, you can click on your profile, and in your research race, you can actually click on other players' profiles to see what they've done to theirs. So this is actually my player profile. I have a nice brown background with a green border with a tetrapod because I think he looks a little derpy and a little funny, and I like that a lot.
It's a very
and you can
natural
actually see
aesthetic. I think it
Yeah.
works really well together.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So in this player profile, you can see my tier. So it says I'm a specialist 4. You can see how many how many metabits that I have in my main simulation. You can see how many prestiges I have done in the Mesozoic Valley and the Beyond. It looks like I've been lacking in the Beyond. Sorry about that, Scott. I promise I haven't. It's just a different account. And you can see how many badges I have. The 11 over there represents how many badges, and the 4 out of 24 represents how many unique badges I've had. So that means that I've probably played about 2 of the events, and I've only gotten 4 of the unique badges out of all of the badges that we have to unlock. But a cool thing with this player profile is that you can change your profile icon and you can change the colors. And if you want to go to the next slide, we can see that the way that you can do this is you can actually unlock these customizations in the Logit store. So the way, if you haven't unlocked these, you won't be able to see them, but you can click on the individual Logit store unlocks. So I believe, I'm trying to see what they're called, but so first you unlock the background color and you can change that, and then the second one you can unlock is the border color. And then we also have some unique prizes in here which will change your icon to be 3D models. So mine right now is a tetrapod, and in the garden view, I will actually be shown as a little tetrapod moving around from node to node where I am, depending on where I'm at in the event. But as we can see on the screen here, we also have a shark. So if people are interested in sharks, you could customize your profile to have blue in it, so it kind of represents the ocean, and then you could unlock the shark with Logit, and then it will make your icon inside of the garden a 3D model. And we felt like that was really cool because it kind of looks like it's swimming around the garden, and it'll show you what nodes you're at. So that's really exciting. You can also get smaller purchase 3D models. So there's the fossil, there's the ideas. So we have 4 of them, and you can also in here unlock different packs for your icon profile, your profile icon. So you don't need to just do the 3D models if you don't want. You can do the normal images for your icons, and we have different packs. We have a philosophy pack, we have, I believe, an extinction pack, we have a mammals pack, and we are going to be adding more of these, so look out for those. I think people will really enjoy customizing their profiles. Emily and Scott, I don't know if you guys have done it yet, but you guys should update your profiles to look really cool. I'd love to see what they look like in the future.
For sure. I think I updated mine, but I'm not nearly as happy with it as I am with yours.
Yeah.
I think I need to buy some more Logit packs for sure.
Yeah, I was very into the tetrapod, and I really wanted it to my player profile to represent that. But yeah, so the research race is something we've been really trying to edit and to improve, and I would love to know what everyone thinks of it in the chat. If you want to throw in a couple comments of how you feel about the research race, that would be appreciated. And I know that the research race is not everyone's cup of tea, so I know some people that are like, well, I don't really want to compete in the research race if I don't want to, which is okay. You can toggle the players on and off in your research race if you don't want them to be shown in your garden. But our team is also looking into ways that we can address these people by possibly having a way that players can work cooperatively together to work towards a shared goal. So that's something that we're going to be looking into the future. And if anyone has any ideas for that, you can throw it in the chat as well. But I think it'd be really nice to work with if you guys have any of your friends who who play Celtic Singularity, you could tag team and maybe work towards a collective goal. So that's something we're also looking into, which I'm very excited to work on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know when we were talking about that with the whole team, there were even some people who were like, I don't like racing. It stresses me out.
Yeah.
I play this game to de-stress. So it would be nice to have the option of like, do you want to be competitive with other players or do you want to work alongside them? But so far, the research race is looking really cool. I remember the olden days of Celta Singularity when players like hardly interacted with each other, and now it feels like a long in the past.
Yeah. I want to, let's see, we can address some people's comments in the chat. I know some people have said some comments about cheaters in their research race, which, yes, that is a very good point. We have noticed some cheaters in the research races, and we are looking into resolving this, and we actually are resolving it. The next patch should have a couple of fixes to get those cheaters out of your research race. It's complicated to fix. I wish nobody cheated. In a perfect world, nobody would be cheating in the game, but unfortunately, that's not the case. but we are resolving it. So once this feature is completely polished and done and outside of being a beta feature, players will not need to deal with cheaters in their research race. So look forward to that. Sorry that you have to be dealing with that now, but I promise it will not be like that in the future.
We also go more in detail about our process for filtering cheaters and how we're going to be refining that feature in our most recent dev diary. And we will be talking more about it in future dev diary installments as well. So, Emily or Aditya, if you could drop the link to the dev diary on our Reddit page, that would be helpful, because I don't know how many people here have actually gotten the chance to read our dev diary. It's a long one, very chunky, very lengthy, like this stream, but we just have so much to share with you. We've been working on a lot of stuff. Our team's been really busy.
Yeah, we only have so much time to talk about all of the development and the progress that goes into these features. So make sure, if you guys are interested, to look at that dev diary, because that'll really give you an inside look at how our team is working and what features that we're adding and how long they're taking and what goes into them. So it's a good read, I promise. Lots of cool visuals if you're not into reading as much.
We try to make it as entertaining as possible. Emily did a great job. But speaking of all the content that we've been working on that we want to share with you, ooh, spooky, pretend that there's like lightning coming down and fog and everything, and like a spooky song is playing. I tried to add in some stuff last minute, but you know, sometimes production just gets tricky. So we'll have to settle for this slightly spooky Halloween background. If anyone has been playing the game right now, you might have noticed a couple little spooky visitors in your game. The Dodo Ghost Hunt has returned. It's pretty much the same event as last year. We received a lot of feedback from players throughout the year asking if the Dodo Ghost Hunt would be coming back, because they missed their chance at being able to get the secret achievement that comes along with it. So we wanted to give players the chance to be able to get that again. Only this time, there are, I believe, 11 new friendly faces showing up in the Civ Garden.
Yeah. If you noticed when I was playing, we saw some new dodos that got added into that Civ Garden. So the only way you're going to be able to complete it again is by looking at some of those in the Civ Garden.
Yeah, I noticed one was getting roasted. Poor guy.
Yeah, one. Yeah, so if we kind of gave some positions away. So one was getting roasted and one was on top of the barrier, but they're all over the place. So try to look for them when you're playing the game, and you will get an achievement once you've gotten them all if you haven't done it last year.
I just noticed I didn't put the graphic up until now, so thanks everyone for dealing with the blank screen. There are so many graphics because there's so much content. It's really fun. I'm really glad. Yeah, so this the Dodo Ghost Hunt Returns event will be live until November 8th. So you have some time after Halloween is over. Don't stress about it too hard. I think there's actually a content creator on YouTube, Play More Inside, who does some video features about new content we have that's released. And I think they just released an updated hidden spots of the dodos, like, reveal video. So if you're having trouble finding all the spots, first I recommend giving it your best shot. But if you're really stuck and you can't find them all, you should look up Play More Inside.
We'll definitely be using it. His YouTube video, even though I'm on the team. I still don't know where they all are because they're so hidden. So yeah.
It's that helpful. Yeah, our dev team is sometimes like, wait, where's that last dodo? And we might go to Play More Inside's video to help us out. All right. This is such a packed show, and I know we started a little late, so we're going past 2 o'clock a little bit, but a reminder for anyone who's filtering in a little late, we're not doing a traditional Q&A session at the end, so ask your questions now. We'll try to answer what we can with the time that we have, but we also have 2 mods in the chat right now who would be happy to answer what they can as well. But before we roll into our Darwinium code that we all know and love at the end of the show, I think we have one more thing to share. Does that sound good? What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, so I am very excited to announce that we have, well, as you all know, we worked on the T event, and that is out in the game. And I believe that's actually going to be running again in 2 weeks. So if you missed it, please make sure you play it in 2 weeks because it's a very nice and calming event. It's one of my favorites. But I have the next event that is going to be launched. So I want to give a little drum roll, please,
A little
for the
drum
next
roll,
event.
huh? All right, let's do this, Scott.
So the next event is going to be the music event. Ooh.
What?
So,
wow.
yes. I'm
Sorry
very
for my
excited.
delay.
You're okay. So the next event is the music event. So in this event, we're going to discuss sound and sort of how that works and how sound, like, so the air molecules moving and that hitting our eardrums and how that creates music that we all enjoy and love. I don't know if you guys have your music on when you play the game, but I know I do, and I like to listen to the Celtic Singularity music. So this is the next event that's going to be running, and it will be going up late November-ish, sometime in November. So look forward to that. And it is actually going live, and I believe it's live very soon in beta. So if you guys want access to our beta, you can play the event because it's going to be running. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask it in the chat, or you can go to our Discord and see if you can get access to the beta there if you're really interested in playing the music event before it goes out into our main game. But yeah, some people are saying in 2 hours. Yeah, so in 2 hours, the music event is going live. So if you want to run to join the beta, one of our mods just threw some information in the chat.
Yeah.
Try to rush in and play it. It's exciting. It is in beta, so it's not complete yet, but it'll be going out soon. So I'm very excited about that, and I think it'll be a very fun event.
I wonder what is going to end up being called. Oh, sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no. And please join the beta also to get to see what's coming up in the beyond. Like I mentioned, the beta testers really help us get all the kinks out of the vast universe.
Yeah, beta is very helpful. The more beta testers, the better.
Yes.
And yes, right now it's just the Celtic Singularity music. I believe it is called I think it's Field of Vibration or something along those lines.
Good vibrations.
In the beta.
So
Good
far.
Vibrations. It is, yeah.
Oh.
But that is subject to change. The names of the events are always a tricky one because they're very it's tough to nail one down.
I hope we stick
But
with
it
Good
is-
Vibrations. It's such a nice, like, I don't know, a good wholesome title.
Yeah, it's nice. It's definitely it's a little it's like a little Easter egg because I believe there's a Beach Boys song that talks about good vibrations, but it's also talks about the fact that the event is really about the vibration of, things and airwaves that create sound. So I like it. I think it's a good name.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam, for sharing all this. This was a lot, but it's all super exciting. We hope you're all looking forward to it. Again, please join the beta, if not for Beyond, if not for the events, to just stay updated on everything that we're working on, because we're always pushing out new content, and we really appreciate all of our beta testers who are able to help us refine that content so that it's as polished as it can be once it's moved into production. All right. Well, I think we have one more surprise to share with everybody. So earlier, I don't know how many people here stay up to date on our Dev Diary entries. We skipped September because we have been so busy making all of this content, so that's why it might feel a little heavy. But we recently just released a new Dev Diary entry earlier this week, on Tuesday, I believe. And some players might have noticed that we released an updated roadmap. And then we took a look at that roadmap and we were like, let's figure out how we can display this in a different format and update some more content, because we looked at a lot of your feedback and we thought we could take another crack at it. So here it is, the reveal of the real roadmap that is for the end of 2023. Look at it, isn't it so shiny?
I love
So
this iteration. We're even beta testing the roadmap.
Yeah. It all has to go through several passes. Emily has done this, and she did a really fantastic job with it, even with the last minute feedback that we had. But just to give everyone some context about what we're planning to do in the year to come, now that we're towards the end of 2023, we've been thinking about how we want to continue sharing all this content with you that we've been working on and all of our plans with releasing it. And we tried to release roadmaps more frequently in the past, but we found that our players seem to enjoy conversing with us through dev diaries and also through these live streams. So moving forward, our goal is going to be releasing a dev diary once a month. And if you guys really like these live streams, we'll keep doing that once a month as well. And then we ideally would like to release our roadmaps twice a year. Not sure which months they'll end up being, but they'll probably be released after we've done a lot of content releases and we realized, hey, this roadmap is outdated. We really should be updating it. And then we'll share it in a dev diary and it'll get its own big reveal. So if anyone has any questions about the content that's in this roadmap right now, please let us know. We'll actually be updating it on our on Discord and on Reddit after the stream is over. So you can also check it out there in all of its big full screen glory. But yeah, you might notice that we added the music event here. So for anyone who isn't in the live stream, I think that's quite a big drop to just be like, hey, by the way, here's the new event. So that's exciting. Also, the Neolithic age is there, which is really fun to see.
Yeah, it's cool to see it all together in one screenshot. Really shows kind of how much effort we're trying to put into adding as much content as we can for the fans into the game.
For sure. And we always try to look at what we posted in previous roadmaps and seeing, it's just interesting to see internally for our team, like where our priorities have shifted based on player feedback and what we're able to achieve within the year. So I know a huge initiative that our team is always working on is game improvements and quality of life improvements. It's not the most glamorous or glitzy timeline that you might see here on the roadmap, but it's really important, and we just want you all to know that it's one of the top things on our radar, and we're always trying to improve the game however we can. So if you're experiencing any issues with the game or experiencing any bugs and you want to give us your feedback, please email us at lunch@computerlunch.com. That's where we can best assist you and be able to keep a record of your feedback. All right. Do you think we have enough time to answer any questions before we roll into the Darwinium code? Or we are coming up on the end of our stream, so we might have time for one or two questions, but I think I'll probably roll into the code very soon. Thank you again for everyone who was waiting for us to start right at 1 o'clock. I was still trying to input some stuff because I underestimated how much content was going to be in this stream. So thank you everybody for your patience. We really appreciate it.
We have some questions, but some
yeah,
people ask.
There are a few questions in the chat, but I think some of those might best be answered in the Discord. If folks are willing to go there, because I think we're coming up on our time, so we may want to go to the code.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. It's been really great getting to share with you everything we've been working on. It feels like we haven't talked in like a long time. But yeah, no, this was really exciting. Does anyone want to guess what the Darwinium code is? I know we usually ask our viewers what they think the code might be. I'd like to see everyone's guesses.
Is it a clue if we say you have to put a Fomalhaut ring on it?
Well,
oh my gosh.
It might be a bit of a dead giveaway clue if I say People were freaking out about it a little bit earlier in the chat. Someone even, said it in all caps, and I was like, wow, they know what the code is automatically. It's diamonds. I see someone guessed it.
Wow, that's a great guess. I would never have guessed diamonds, so
it's a good one.
Crazy.
Yeah, just like the trait card, Diamond Crust. All right, yeah, that's all caps, no spaces. Again, if you are on Android or Steam, you can redeem it through the redeem code option when you click on your hamburger menu in the top right corner of your game. If you're on iOS, we do not have a feature where you can redeem a code directly through iOS devices, unfortunately, as always. But if you have access to Steam, we recommend using our cloud transfer save system to transfer your save into Steam, redeem the code there, and then transfer it back to iOS. We wish it wasn't that clunky, but unfortunately it is. Our hands are tied a little bit there. But we appreciate your patience, and if you're able to redeem the code, it's for 20 cubes. So use those cubes to, I don't know, you could save it up for dog domestication in the Lodgett store. Or
you could use it to get a strategic advantage in the research race. There's so many things you could use the cubes for.
Somebody asked about redeeming it in production or in beta. You should redeem in production.
Yes. Yeah. If you are in beta, I know we've had a clause released a while ago, but we should probably update it. There is a chance that you'll be losing cubes. We try to make our beta testers aware that their save files are at risk of being reset. So if you are interested in joining the beta, it would probably be best to create a new account before you do, that you're aware will most likely be reset, or there's a chance of it.
Yeah, we turned that off, so you shouldn't be getting reset anymore. But depending on what version you have, it's still a possibility. So yep, the beta communities the world over are about testing things and often need to be reset when the balance needs to be fixed. So thank you for the folks in beta. But yeah, do note we did change how that reset works recently.
Oh, our writer Lori, I think, just dropped a hot tip about how you could do it. Play beta on your phone or Steam, and then play the real deal game that you have saved for your real save on a different platform. So that's a plus. Steam plus your mobile device. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's good. I do the opposite. I do beta on my computer, and then I do my real save on my phone.
Nice.
And this is also a good plug, especially if you're in beta. Joining the Discord is great. We really do follow the discussion there, and it's exciting to see not only what people are thinking, but it's just such a great way to get feedback rather than just having to go from the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the beta channel in our Discord is always hot. There's always people chatting away and giving their feedback in there, and our dev team is always lurking in there. So yeah, please join the community. We always love seeing as many of you there as possible. All right, and with that, that's the end of our show. Wow, I feel like I've just run a marathon. Well, thank you so much, Scott, for joining us and for sharing all those really cool interstellar details of the beyond. It's really exciting, and I know that all of our players are looking forward to playing E20, which is coming out so soon. And thank you so much, Sam, for joining us for the first time. How was your first stream?
It was good. It's a little stressful to see all that number keep going up as we're live streaming, but I was happy to show Civ content and main game content, such as the leaderboard and the research race, and give updates on those, because I know players have a lot of questions on them, and unfortunately we can't always answer them as much as we would like to in the Discord. So, these streams, I think, are a really good opportunity for us to get a decent one-on-one with our fans and answer a lot of important questions that they might have.
Totally. I agree. That's why we really love continuing to do the live streams, because we love seeing all of you in the chat, and hearing your ideas and seeing your questions. And even if you have any issues, we want to try and resolve those for you as much as we can. So it's always really fun to do these streams for you, and we hope you continue enjoying them as much as we enjoy providing them for you. The next one will be in November. Not 100% sure on the date yet, but it's definitely coming, and we hope to see you then. Thank you everybody so much, and remember to stay posted on our socials for important updates of when all this content is being released.
Thanks everyone.
All right.
Bye. Thanks everybody.
Bye everybody. Thank you for joining us.